I'm Clara, 38 years old, a painter scraping by in Portland. My life looks pretty on the outside, doesn't it? A cozy little house, a husband named David who's a steady accountant, and our 9-year-old son Ben, who's got more heart than most grown men. Picture it, the perfect family, the kind you'd see in a cheesy holiday card. David pulls in decent money. I sell a few paintings here and there, and Ben's the kind of kid who still hugs his mom in public. Sounds like I've got it made, right? Ha, what a load of crap. Life's not some pretty picture you hang on the wall. It's messy, and mine was about to get uglier than a botched canvas. My studio's this tiny room in our house, crammed with easels, paint tubes, and half-finished dreams. I pour my soul into every stroke. But let's be real. Most days, I'm lucky if I sell one piece a month. Still, I keep at it, because painting's the only thing that makes me feel alive. David's always been the supportive type, or so I thought. "You just focus on your art, babe," he'd say, all smooth and charming. "I'll handle the bills." Sounds sweet, doesn't it? Yeah, I fell for it too. Hook, line, and sinker. Looking back, I want to kick myself for being so damn naive. That man was playing me like a cheap fiddle, and I was too busy mixing colors to notice. I still remember our wedding day, 12 years ago. David stood there in his rented tux, eyes all shiny, promising to paint our life together. God, what a line. I ate it up, picturing us as this unstoppable team, building a future full of love and laughter. I was 26, head over heels, thinking I'd found my forever. Now, I just want to grab that younger Clara and yell, "Wake up, you idiot!" That fairy tale I believed in? It was just a sketch, and the real picture was about to rip it to shreds. Living in Portland's got its charm, I'll give it that. The city's always drizzling, like it's crying for you when you can't. Our house is on a quiet street, the kind where neighbors wave but don't pry. My studio window faces a maple tree that turns fire red in the fall, and sometimes I stare at it for hours, waiting for inspiration to hit. But lately, inspiration's been as scarce as a sunny day. I'd been feeling this itch, like something was off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. David started coming home later, blaming client meetings. His phone was always locked, and he'd get this twitchy look if I got too close while he was texting. "Work stuff," he'd mumble, flashing that smile I used to love. I wanted to believe him, God I did. But doubt's a nasty little bug. It crawls in and chews up everything. I tried to brush it off, told myself I was being paranoid. After all, we had Ben, our little glue stick, holding us together. That kid's my world, smart as a whip, with these big brown eyes that see right through you. He's got my stubborn streak and David's knack for numbers, always counting his Legos like they're gold. I'd do anything for him, no question. But even Ben couldn't stop the cracks from spreading. One night, I was cleaning up the kitchen, and he came padding in, holding David's laptop. "Mom," he said, his voice all small and shaky. "I was playing a game, and I saw something weird." I froze, dishwater dripping off my hands. "Weird how, buddy?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He bit his lip, like he wasn't sure he should say it. "Dad was emailing some lady. Her name's Lisa. He said he's buying a house or something." My heart dropped like a brick. "What?" I managed, but it came out more like a croak. Ben looked at me, his eyes wide. "Is Dad leaving us?" I pulled him into a hug, my mind racing. "No way, kiddo," I lied, because what else could I say? It's probably nothing, just grown-up stuff. But inside, I was screaming. A house? With some woman named Lisa? My stomach twisted, and I felt like I was going to puke right there on the linoleum. I sent Ben to bed, promising we'd talk later, but as soon as he was gone, I sank into a chair, my hands shaking. "David, you bastard, what the hell are you up to?" I sat there for a long time, staring at the laptop like it was a bomb. Part of me wanted to smash it, pretend Ben never said anything, but another part, the part that's been burned before, knew I had to look. I thought about all those late nights, those locked screens, those fake smiles. Was this why? Was my perfect husband planning a whole new life behind my back? The thought made my blood boil. I wasn't just some clueless wife he could screw over. I'm Clara, damn it, and if he was hiding something, I was going to find out. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept seeing our wedding day, hearing David's vows, feeling that stupid, hopeful flutter in my chest. I wanted to believe it was a mistake, that Ben misread something, but deep down, I knew better. Life's not a painting you can just fix with a new layer of color. Sometimes the canvas is rotten and no amount of paint can hide it. I clenched my fists, nails digging into my palms. You think you can play me, David? I muttered to the dark. You're about to find out who you're messing with. I didn't cry, not yet. Crying's for when you're done fighting, and I was just getting started. That laptop was calling my name, and come morning, I'd be cracking it open. Whatever David was hiding, I'd drag it into the light. And if he was screwing me over, oh, he'd regret the day he ever met me. I'm not the type to roll over and take it. Not for him, not for anyone. My life might have looked like a perfect picture once, but pictures lie. And I was done being the fool who believed them. I sat in the dark, the laptop glowing like some kind of cursed artifact. Ben's words kept looping in my head. Dad was emailing some lady, buying a house. My chest felt like it was caving in, but I wasn't about to let this slide. David thought he could pull one over on me? Ha, he didn't know who he was dealing with. I'm Clara, the woman who clawed her way through art school on ramen and grit. If he was hiding something, I'd rip the truth out myself. I waited until the house was dead quiet, Ben fast asleep, before I cracked that laptop open. My hands were shaking, not from fear. Oh no, I was pissed. The password was easy. David's never been creative. Ben 2008, the year our son was born. I almost laughed at the irony. The screen lit up and there it was, his email, still logged in. I scrolled through, my heart pounding like a drum. Junk mail, work stuff, and then, bam, there she was. Lisa. Dozens of emails, all time-stamped over the last 6 months. I clicked one and my eyes nearly popped out. Can't wait to start our life, babe, she wrote. The house is perfect. David's reply? I'm working on the down payment. Clara won't notice. My blood ran cold. Notice? You bet your ass I noticed, you slimy bastard. I kept reading, each word like a knife in my gut. They weren't just flirting. This was full-on planning. Lisa, some coworker from his firm, had him wrapped around her finger. You deserve better, she wrote, and he ate it up, replying, with you, I'll have it all. All? What the hell was I? Chopped liver? And then I saw the worst part. Bank transfers. My bank account, the one tied to my studio, where every penny from my paintings went. He'd siphoned off thousands, funneled it straight to some real estate agent for their house. My hands shook so bad I nearly dropped the laptop. That money was my blood, my sweat, every late night spent perfecting a canvas. And he stole it to play house with his side chick? I leaned back, my breath ragged. You piece of shit, I hissed at the screen. I wanted to scream, to march upstairs and drag him out of bed. But no, I wasn't going to give him the satisfaction of seeing me lose it. I started screenshotting everything, every email, every transfer, every sickening I love you he sent her. My studio, my sanctuary, felt like a crime scene. The walls were lined with my paintings, each one a piece of me, and now I saw them for what they were. Sacrifices for a man who didn't give a damn. I thought back to the signs I'd ignored. David coming home late, reeking of cologne he never used to wear. His phone buzzing at 2 a.m., him muttering, wrong number, when I asked, the way he'd snap at me over nothing, like when I asked why our account was low. Stop nagging, Clara, he'd bark, and I'd back off, thinking I was the problem. God, I was so stupid. I remembered one night, maybe a month ago, when I found a receipt in his pocket, some fancy restaurant I'd never been to. Client dinner, he said, and I bought it. I bought every damn lie. Now it all clicked. He wasn't working late. He was with her. I slammed the laptop shut, my head spinning. How long had this been going on? A year? More? I thought about our life, the one I thought we'd built. Like that summer we took Ben to the coast? laughing as he chased seagulls. David had wrapped his arm around me, whispering, "This is all I need." Liar. I could still see his grin, the one that used to make my heart skip. Now it just made me want to puke. That man wasn't my husband. He was a stranger, and I'd been sleeping next to him like a fool. I paced the studio, my bare feet cold on the hardwood. Outside, Portland's rain tapped the window, like it was trying to calm me down. Fat chance. I was done crying over men who didn't deserve it. I'd learned that lesson young. My dad walked out when I was 10, leaving Mom to scrape by. I swore I'd never let a man screw me over like that again. Yet here I was, staring at the wreckage of my perfect marriage. "Life, you're a real asshole," I muttered, kicking a stray paintbrush across the floor. But I wasn't going to sit there and wallow. Oh no. David was about to meet the Clara he didn't know existed. I grabbed a USB drive and backed up every email, every transaction. I wasn't just hurt, I was livid. This wasn't just about me. It was about Ben, who deserved a father who didn't stab his family in the back. It was about my art, my studio, the one thing I'd built with my own hands. David thought he could take that from me? He was dead wrong. I sat down, my jaw tight, and started planning. First, I'd lock down our accounts, no more sneaky transfers. Then I'd call a lawyer, someone who'd make David regret ever crossing me. I wasn't going to confront him yet, not until I had every duck in a row. Let him think he was slick, sneaking around with his little girlfriend. I'd hit him when he least expected it, and I'd hit hard. "You want to play dirty, David?" I whispered, glaring at the laptop. "Game on." I glanced at a painting on the wall, one I'd done years ago, a stormy sea, all churning waves and dark clouds. It felt like my life now, but I wasn't drowning, not yet. I'd fight for Ben, for my art, for myself. David might have thought he had me fooled, but he was about to learn. I'm not the kind of woman you screw over and walk away from. I stood up, my fists clenched. "You're gonna pay for this, you son of a bitch," I said to the empty room. The rain kept falling, but inside I was burning. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. I spent the next few days moving like a ghost, every step fueled by rage and betrayal. My studio, once my safe haven, now felt like a war room. I'd saved every damning email, every bank transfer David thought he'd hidden. My laptop was a ticking bomb, and I was ready to detonate it. But not yet. I needed to be smart, not just some scorned wife screaming her head off. David was still strutting around like nothing was wrong, kissing Ben goodnight, asking me about my day with that fake-ass smile. Every time he opened his mouth, I wanted to shove those emails down his throat. "You lying bastard," I'd think, but I kept my face blank. Let him think he's winning. I was done playing the fool. I called him that night, my voice steady as steel. "Come home now, David, we need to talk." He mumbled something about a late meeting, but I cut him off. "Now." He showed up an hour later, tie loose, looking annoyed. I waited in the living room, the stack of printed emails and bank statements on the coffee table like a loaded gun. Ben was at a friend's house. I wasn't about to let him see this. The rain was pounding outside, matching the storm in my chest. David walked in, tossing his keys on the counter. "What's this about, Clara?" he asked, all casual, like I was going to nag him about dishes. I didn't say a word at first, just pointed to the papers. "Explain this," I said, my voice low, dangerous. He glanced at the stack, and I saw it, the flicker of panic in his eyes. He picked up the top sheet, a bank transfer for 10 grand, and tried to laugh it off. "What's this? You digging through my stuff now?" "Digging," I snapped, stepping closer. "You stole from me, my studio, my paintings, my money. You funneled it to your little girlfriend, Lisa." I threw the emails at him, pages fluttering like dead leaves. "You're buying a house with her? Planning a whole damn life? You think I'm that stupid?" His face went white, like I'd slapped him. "Clara, you're blowing this out of proportion," he stammered. It's not what you think." "Not what I think?" I cut him off, my voice rising. "I've got your love notes, David. I can't wait to start our life, babe. Clara won't notice." Well, guess what? I noticed. I shoved another email in his face, the one where he called her his future. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, pure red-hot anger. You've been screwing around for a year, haven't you? A year! He backed up, hands raised like I was going to deck him. Part of me wanted to. Okay, calm down, he said like I was the crazy one. Let's talk about this. Talk? I laughed, sharp and bitter. You don't get to talk your way out of this, you piece of shit. You betrayed me. You betrayed Ben. That's when he cracked. His shoulders slumped and he sank onto the couch, rubbing his face. It just happened, he mumbled. Lisa and it wasn't planned. I didn't mean to hurt you. I stared at him, my heart twisting like someone was wringing it out. Didn't mean to hurt me? Every lie, every stolen dollar, every secret email was a knife in my back. So what was the plan, huh? I hissed. Move in with her? Leave us. What about Ben, you selfish prick? He didn't answer, just stared at the floor. That's when he admitted it. Over a year with Lisa, sneaking around, planning a new life. The house was real. The down payment, my money. I felt like I was going to puke. But I didn't cry, not in front of him. I wasn't giving him that. You're pathetic, I spat, my voice steady now. You think you can just walk away from us? I'm done with you. I grabbed my phone, already dialing my lawyer's number. I'm locking every account and I'm taking Ben. You want to beg? Save it for Lisa. He started blubbering, saying he was sorry, that he'd end it with her. I just laughed, cold as ice. Get out, I said. Pack your crap and go. I don't want you here. He tried to argue, but I was done listening. Come on, Clara. Think about Ben, he pleaded. That was it. I stepped up, right in his face. Don't you dare use my son against me, I shouted. You're the one who threw him away. Get out before I call the cops. He grabbed a bag, stuffed some clothes in it, and left, the door slamming behind him. The house went quiet, just the rain and my heart beat. I sank to the floor, the papers scattered around me like ashes. I should have felt broken, but all I felt was fire. I thought about Ben, his big eyes, when he asked if his dad was leaving. I'd promised him we'd be okay, and I meant it. I got up, grabbed my laptop, and froze the joint accounts. No more stealing. I emailed my lawyer the evidence, setting up a meeting for tomorrow. David wasn't getting a dime, and he sure as hell wasn't getting Ben. I looked at my paintings on the wall, the ones I'd poured my soul into. They weren't just art, they were proof I could survive this. I went to Ben's room, even though he wasn't there. His Lego ships were lined up on the shelf, each one built with his dad. My throat tightened, but I pushed it down. I'm sorry, kiddo, I whispered, but I've got you. We don't need him. I thought about the day Ben was born, David holding my hand, promising we'd be a team. What a joke. That man was gone, if he'd ever existed. The rain kept falling, washing away the life I thought I had. My marriage was a busted canvas, but I wasn't done painting. Not yet. David could run to Lisa, but he'd learn soon enough. You don't screw over Clara and walk away clean. I'd make sure of it. David was gone, and the house felt like a hollow shell. Just me, Ben, and a pile of bills that didn't give a damn about my broken heart. I'd kicked that snake out, locked the accounts, and lawyered up. But winning that fight didn't fill the fridge or keep the lights on. My studio was a mess. Half-finished canvases mocking me, paintbrushes scattered like bones. Some nights, I'd sit there till 2 a.m., staring at those paintings, wondering how the hell I got here. Life, you're a real bastard, I muttered, tossing a dried-up tube of blue across the room. I wanted to burn it all down, start over. But then, I'd think of Ben, sleeping down the hall, and I'd pull myself together. That kid was my reason to keep going, no matter how much it hurt. The first few weeks were brutal. Money was tight. David's stunt with Lisa had drained my studio account, and sales were slower than a Portland winter. I was juggling lawyer fees, school supplies, and a mortgage that felt like a noose. Ben tried to be brave, but I saw the questions in his eyes. Is Dad coming back? He asked one night, his voice small. I hugged him tight, my chest aching. We don't need him, buddy, I said. You and me were a team. But at night, alone, I'd lie awake, second-guessing everything. Was I enough for Ben? Could I keep us afloat? What did I do to deserve this shit? I'd whisper to the ceiling, the rain outside answering with its endless drone. I thought about the old days, back when painting was my escape. I was 20, sneaking into alleys to spray graffiti, dreaming of a big gallery show. That fire in me had faded over the years, buried under diapers and dinner routines, but now I needed it back. I wasn't just fighting for me, I was fighting for Ben, for the life we deserved. Screw this, I said one morning, dragging a fresh canvas to the easel. I'm not letting that asshole win. I started painting again, pouring every ounce of pain into the brush. Anger, betrayal, fear. It all bled onto the canvas in jagged reds and stormy grays. It wasn't pretty, but it was real, and it was mine. I knew I couldn't just paint my feelings and call it a day. We needed cash, and my studio wasn't cutting it. So I got to work. I called a gallery downtown, one I'd been too scared to pitch to before. I'm Clara, local artist, I said, faking confidence. I want to put on a show. The guy on the phone was skeptical, but I sent him photos of my new work, raw, messy, full of heart. To my shock, he called back. It's bold, he said. Let's do it. I hung up, my hands shaking. Holy crap, I did it, I said, laughing for the first time in weeks. But the real work was just starting. Planning that show was like running a marathon with a kid on my back. I painted day and night, my hands stained with color, my eyes burning from lack of sleep. I'd drop Ben at school, meet with the lawyer to nail David's ass in court, then haul ass to the studio to finish another piece. Some days I'd collapse on the couch, too tired to eat, wondering if I was crazy to think I could pull this off. But then Ben would crawl into my lap, showing me a drawing he'd made. A wonky house with just us two. It's our place, Mom, he said, grinning. That smile? It was rocket fuel. I'd kiss his forehead and get back to work. I still cursed David every chance I got. You thought you could break me, you prick, I'd mutter, slashing paint across a canvas. The lawyer was building a solid case. David wouldn't get a penny, and Ben was staying with me. I heard through a friend that Lisa had dumped him already, leaving him crashing on a buddy's couch. Good riddance, I spat, but it didn't erase the hurt. I'd loved that man once, built a life with him. Now all I had was a kid to raise and a dream to chase. But you know what? That was enough. The gallery show crept closer, and I was a wreck. I'd finished 10 pieces, each one a story of survival. The gallery owner loved them, said they'd draw a crowd. I didn't believe him until the night of the show. People actually showed up. Art snobs, locals, even a critic from some fancy paper. I stood there in a dress I hadn't worn in years, Ben holding my hand, watching strangers stare at my work. Your mom's awesome, a lady told him, and he beamed. I sold 3 paintings that night, enough to cover the mortgage for a few months. We're gonna be okay, kiddo, I whispered to Ben, my heart swelling. I wasn't naive anymore. Life wasn't some fairy tale, and men like David were proof of that. But standing in that gallery, watching Ben chatter about my paintings, I felt something I hadn't in years, pride. I'd clawed my way out of the dark, and I'd done it for us. No one's gonna stop us now, I told myself, squeezing Ben's hand. The rain outside had finally stopped, and for the first time in months, I saw a sliver of sunlight. My old life was gone, but I was painting a new one, stroke by stroke, and it was starting to look pretty damn good. Life's funny, isn't it? One minute you're staring at the wreckage of everything you thought you had, and the next you're standing in the sunlight, piecing together something new. Me and Ben, we're doing all right now. Not rich, not fancy, but we've got a roof over our heads and food on the table. My little studio's picking up steam. People are actually buying my paintings, and I'm planning another show. David, haha, that loser's a ghost story now. Word is he and Lisa crashed and burned, and he's shacked up in some dumpy apartment licking his wounds. Karma's a bitch, ain't it? I mutter when I think of him. I'm not bitter. Okay, maybe a little. But I'm too busy living to care about his sorry ass anymore. Our house feels like ours now, not some haunted museum of a failed marriage. Ben's room is a mess of Legos and sketch pads, and the living room's got this big canvas we're working on together. It's nothing fancy, just splashes of color, wild and free like us. The other day, he looked at it, his nose scrunched up, and said, "Mom, this one's way better than the old stuff." I laughed till my sides hurt. "You're damn right, kiddo," I said, ruffling his hair. "That canvas is our life now, messy, bright, and all ours. No one's gonna smear it up again." I think about the old days sometimes when I thought David was my rock. What a joke. I used to believe in forever, in vows and promises. Now, I know better. Men like him, they're all sweet talk until they get what they want. But I don't need them. I've got Ben, my art, and a fire in my gut that no one can put out. I walk into my studio every morning, sunlight streaming through the window, and I feel proud. "You did this, Clara," I tell myself. "You took their crap and built something better." And I did. My paintings are selling, my kids smiling, and I'm not some doormat wife anymore. I'm me, and that's enough. Ben's my anchor. He's growing fast, all legs and big dreams, but he's still my little guy. We've got this routine now. Saturday mornings, we crank up some music and paint together. He's got my eye for color, splashing blues and yellows like he's born for it. Last week, he held up his brush, grinning, and said, "Mom, we're artists, right?" I hugged him so tight he squirmed. "Hell yeah, we are," I said. "That kid's my world, and I'll fight anyone who tries to hurt him." David's name barely comes up anymore, but when it does, Ben just shrugs. "We're better without him," he says, and I swear I've never been prouder. I heard David tried to reach out a while back, left some pathetic voicemail about making things right. I deleted it without listening. "Screw you," I said to the empty air. He doesn't get to waltz back in after what he did. The lawyer made sure he's got no claim to Ben or my money, and that's all the closure I need. I don't hate him, not anymore. Hate takes energy, and I'm saving mine for what matters. Like the gallery owner who called last week, wanting to feature my work in a bigger show. "Your stuff's got soul," he said. I smirked. "Yeah, it's been through some shit." He laughed, and I hung up feeling like I could take on the world. Portland's still rainy, but I don't mind it anymore. It's like the city's washing away the past, leaving room for something new. I walk Ben to school every morning, and we talk about everything. Superheroes, pizza, what he wants to be when he grows up. "An artist like you," he said once, and I nearly cried right there on the sidewalk. "You be whatever you want, kid," I told him. "Just don't let anyone walk all over you." He nodded, serious, like he got it. And I think he does. He's seen me fight, seen me stand up. That's worth more than any fairy tale. I still curse life sometimes when the bills pile up or I miss a deadline. "You're a real pain in the ass, you know that?" I'll say to no one, shaking my fist at the sky. But then I look at Ben, at my studio, at the life I've clawed back from the edge, and I can't help but smile. I'm not perfect, but I'm tough as nails, and I'm raising a kid who'll be tougher. David thought he could break us, but he was wrong. We're painting a new picture, one that's louder, bolder, and a hell of a lot stronger than the one he tried to ruin. So here's my advice, ladies. Don't trust anyone but yourself. Men, promises, all that crap, it's just noise. When life kicks you down, you get up, you swing back, and you build something better. Me and Ben, we're proof of that. Our canvas is full of color now, and no one's gonna touch it. I stand in my studio, Ben's laughter echoing from the living room, and I know we're gonna be just fine. "This is our masterpiece," I whisper, brushing paint across the canvas, "and this time no bastard's gonna tear it apart.